Australia is famous for venomous snakes, but its longest snakes are not venomous at all. They are giant pythons from tropical forests, sandstone escarpments, and rocky northern gorges. Several species can pass 3 meters. A few are reported to approach 5, and one reliably measured animal stretched well beyond that. So which Australian snake truly grows the longest? The answer is the Australian scrub python, also called Kinghorn's python. Queensland Museum identifies a specimen from Palm Cove as Australia's largest reliable snake record. It measured 5.65 meters and weighed 24 kilograms. That figure matters because it came from an animal that was actually measured, rather than estimated from a photograph, a shed skin, or somebody's memory. Before ranking the contenders, we need to define biggest. Total length asks for the distance from the snout to the tip of the tail. Body mass rewards a thick, heavy snake. Typical adult size asks what most mature animals actually reach. A rare record holder can be much longer than an ordinary adult, so this video keeps confirmed records, published upper figures, and everyday size separate. A snake's length is surprisingly difficult to judge in the field. A curved body hides part of its length, while a wide-angle photograph can exaggerate whatever is closest to the camera. Shed skins can stretch, and old carcasses may be pulled straight more forcefully than a living snake. The strongest records identify the animal, document the method, and place a tape along the body without turning the measurement into a tug of war. You will often see claims that Australian scrub pythons reach 8 or even 8.5 meters. Those figures appear in books, zoo material, and popular articles, but modern scientific writing describes lengths above 8 meters as unconfirmed. The 5.65-meter Palm Cove specimen is smaller than the legend, yet far more useful. It is the figure supported by a named record and repeated by Queensland Museum. The Australian scrub python is a long-bodied constrictor with complex brown, gold, and black patterning. In strong light, its scales can show an iridescent sheen. Older references may use a broader species name, while current sources may separate the Australian form as Kinghorn's python. Whatever taxonomy a source follows, the North Queensland animal is the same giant that holds Australia's reliable length record. The record animal came from Palm Cove, north of Cairns, in 1999. At 5.65 meters, it was longer than a large family car and almost the height of a 2-story building laid on its side. Its mass of 24 kilograms sounds modest beside that length, revealing how slender scrub pythons are compared with heavy-bodied giants such as anacondas. Length, not bulk, is their speciality. Scrub pythons live in the wet tropics of far north Queensland, where rainforest, forest edges, and waterways provide cover and prey. They climb well, but large animals also travel on the ground. Their diet includes birds and mammals, with bigger pythons capable of taking substantial prey. They kill by constriction, tightening their coils around the chest and circulation rather than crushing bones. The record does not mean every scrub python grows beyond 5 meters. A 2025 field study compared hundreds of mainland animals with an island population and found a broad spread of body sizes. Food, sex, age, and local conditions all matter. Giant individuals sit at the extreme end of that variation. This is why a maximum should never be presented as the normal size seen beside a road or in a backyard. The Oenopelli python is the most intriguing challenger. It is endemic to a restricted part of Western Arnhem Land and is rarely encountered. The archival photograph shown here comes from the original scientific description and depicts the holotype in life. Compared with other large pythons, the species is unusually slender, so a long animal may not look as massive as an olive python of similar length. Published accounts say the Oenopelli python can reach about 5 meters, and some reports describe a captive individual exceeding that mark. But the public record is much thinner than it is for the Palm Cove scrub python. Without a better documented measurement, beyond 5.65 meters, the Oenopelli python remains a possible challenger, not the evidence-based champion. Oenopelli pythons occupy sandstone escarpments, gorges, caves, and nearby woodland. They are nocturnal and use both rock crevices and trees. Adults take birds and mammals. The Northern Territory lists the species as vulnerable, with altered fire, reduced prey, and illegal collection among the concerns. Its remote habitat makes research difficult, which helps explain why its true maximum size remains uncertain. The olive python is another genuine giant. Perth Zoo gives a body length range of 2 to 5 meters and a mass of 10 to 20 kilograms. Olive pythons are smoother looking and more uniformly colored than scrub pythons, with muscular bodies that can appear heavier. A large olive python may look more imposing at close range, even when it is not as long as the record scrub python. Olive pythons occur across northern Australia, including the Pilbara population in Western Australia. Rocky gorges, river systems, and permanent waterholes are important habitat. An olive python can wait beside water for birds, reptiles, or mammals to approach, then strike and constrict. This association with pools also creates dramatic photographs, but perspective beside water can make a partly hidden snake difficult to measure accurately. Government survey material describes Pilbara olive pythons reliably measured to 4.5 meters, while broader zoo information allows an upper figure of 5. Those statements are compatible. A species may be capable of more than its best published field measurement, but for a strict ranking, capability is not the same as a record. On current evidence, the olive python remains behind the 5.65-meter scrub python. Carpet pythons are far more familiar to many Australians. They occupy forests, farms, and suburbs, and sometimes shelter in roofs or sheds. Queensland government guidance says they can grow to 4 meters, although most do not exceed 2.5. That gap is important. A very large coastal carpet python is impressive, but the ordinary animal seen around a home is not a 4-meter snake. Carpet pythons also show why appearance can mislead. A tightly coiled snake fills a compact area and can look extremely heavy. A stretched snake may appear thinner, even though its total length is greater. Their variable patterns help them disappear against bark, rock, and leaf litter. When one is close to a camera, the head can dominate the frame and make the entire animal seem larger than it is. The black-headed python can reach about 3 meters. Its glossy black head and banded body make it instantly recognizable. Unlike many pythons, it often eats other reptiles, including lizards and snakes. It is a substantial northern Australian predator, but its upper length is roughly half the reliable scrub python record. That makes it a large snake without making it a serious contender for longest. Water pythons also reach up to about 3 meters. They are common around wetlands and floodplains in northern Australia and are strong swimmers. Their smooth scales can shine bronze or dark brown, and the belly is often a brighter yellow or cream. A 3-meter water python is a major predator, yet it still sits well below the record scrub python and below the published upper figures for olive and Oenopelli pythons. Among venomous snakes, the coastal taipan takes a separate title. Queensland government information calls it the country's longest venomous snake, averaging about 2.5 meters and reaching a published maximum of 3.35. It is long, alert, and fast-moving, but still far shorter than the record scrub python. Venom determines how a snake subdues prey. It does not decide which species grows longest. It is important not to confuse physical size with medical danger. Scrub, olive, carpet, black-headed, and water pythons are non-venomous constrictors, although any large python can bite and defend itself. A coastal taipan is shorter but dangerously venomous. The safe response is the same: keep your distance, bring children and pets inside, and contact a licensed snake catcher rather than trying to identify or move the animal yourself. Placed together, the evidence forms 2 groups. The scrub python has a named, reliable record of 5.65 meters. The Oenopelli and olive pythons have published upper figures around 5 meters, but not a better documented Australian record. Carpet pythons reach an upper figure of 4, while the coastal taipan, black-headed python, and water python sit around 3 to 3.35 meters. This comparison is deliberately cautious. A fact sheet may give a species range without identifying the individual that set its upper limit. A historical report may repeat a length that nobody can now verify. A reliable record names the animal, the place, and the measurement. That higher standard is why 5.65 meters beats a vague claim of 8, and why the scrub python remains ahead of two species sometimes listed at 5. This ranking covers snakes native to Australia. Reticulated and Burmese pythons can grow longer or heavier overseas, and individuals may be kept in Australian zoos, but they are not part of the country's native wild snake fauna. Sea snakes are native and fascinating, yet none approaches the leading land pythons in total length. Keeping the boundary clear prevents an overseas record from being mistaken for an Australian one. So, which Australian snake grows the longest? On reliable evidence, it is the Australian scrub python. The winning measurement is 5.65 meters from a 24-kilogram animal recorded at Palm Cove. Claims of 8 meters or more are part of the species legend, but they are not confirmed records. Until a longer snake is carefully measured and documented, 5.65 is the number to beat. Australia's giant snakes do not need exaggerated numbers to be remarkable. The scrub python is a genuine 5.5-meter predator. The Oenopelli python remains mysterious, the olive python brings heavy muscle to northern gorges, and the coastal taipan leads the venomous species. Separating measurements from stories gives each animal the right claim to fame, while leaving room for the next carefully documented discovery.